The Energy Office, ArkansasEnergy.org is our website, has a lot of materials available there. Easy to use compliance tools like these what I call code cards. It kind of boils the code down to one trifold. You know, builders just say, tell me what I got to do. It's right here. ResCheck software, it's downloadable off our site, and there you can enter more complicated homes and have a printout of code compliance. Builder's Clearinghouse, we have a nice little CD that has some videos on it. It has the Energy Performance Tune-Up on it, which is this award-winning book that was based on work I did about a decade ago, following 100 homes from the ground up, and finding some things were a little missing here and there, and you'll see some of these in the later slides. For our current code, which is based on the 2003 International Energy Conservation Code, the state is divided up into 4 climate zones. And so to follow the code, you need to find the climate zone, calculate the window to wall ratio, and then find out what you need to do. And here's one of these code cards, and this one is for our zone here in central Arkansas. And here there's R30 in the ceiling, R13 in the walls, and the heating and cooling system should be at least minimum. The one moving part in the code is the percent of window in the wall. So if you have a very efficient window, you can put more of it in the wall. Or conversely, if you have a crummy aluminum frame window, no thermal break, you can't put very much. So that's the one moving part in the code. We're finding nowadays, though, that when a builder goes to a building supply home, they're saying, well, don't you want a low solar? Don't you want argon filled? And you know, so these new modern windows that are very efficient are the ones that are actually being sold now. There's a lot going on in the building. Infiltration, there's air leakage, foundation. What about the crawl space? How about a slab? Windows and doors. What are you going to do with those? Ceiling and HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning. Infiltration is a big item, and the 03 code says, yeah, it's a good idea, but it doesn't really give any performance with that. It just says, you know, there's caulking, weather stripping, and everything. But like here is, you can see the sky through this bottom plate here. That's not good. This was an interior wall. I put on a blower door and tried to depressurize the building, and this interior wall leaked air. So you know, it's not just the exterior walls that you need to pay attention to. This is a recessed light that's leaking a lot of air. This is some foam insulation for the bottom plate. So all these things combine to make a home efficient. And also, some people worry about, you know, if it's too tight, you know, people might die. Well, it's really hard to get a house that tight. And this is an infrared slab. This, you see here, is this slab. It's not a light on in the basement, but here's the same house experiencing heat loss. So just because the slab is strong doesn't mean that it's going to keep the heat in. And also, heat doesn't rise. Hot air rises. Heat goes to wherever it's cold. And if the slab is cold, that's where the heat's going to go. This is an example on the left is bad slab insulation. There the foam is just exposed to the sun and to the lawnmower and wherever else, and so that'll probably be eaten up in no time at all. On the right, I followed this one builder as he was working on slab insulation, and he did all the right things. The most important part is this vertical edge. That's where most of that heat loss is taking place. And so he's very carefully insulating it all around the perimeter. Here's some other examples of effective slab insulation. Ceiling insulation. I've gone up into many attics where the thickness of the insulation looks really good, right you know, on the attic access, but then you carefully walk out to the edges, and it goes down and down and down. It's kind of like one of those magic tricks. The code actually requires thickness markers to be put up in the attic. So when an installer goes up there and blows in insulation, it makes it easier for the installer. It makes it easier for the inspector. And also a installation certificate is good to have posted there. Who did the installation, what kind is it, what's the R value. Manual J is used by the Air Conditioning Contractors of America to size air conditioning systems. You take the particular house, the particular windows, the orientation of the house, and you can evaluate what size of system is going to match that house. Now, a lot of heat and air contractors are lazy. They drive by, they say, oh, 1,500 square feet, and rule of thumb, you need 3 tons. 1 ton for every 500 square foot. In fact, if you just look at the air conditioning nameplate to figure out how many tons it is, and look at the house square footage, and if you divide one end to the other and you find it's about 1 ton for 500 square feet, you can pretty much guarantee it's oversized. Oversizing has many issues involved with it. It's kind of like stop and go driving. You know, you can do it, but it's bad on the car. And it's bad on the air conditioner to be oversized. Not only that, but in the summertime here, when it does get a little muggy, you want your air conditioner to be on long enough to reduce the humidity in the house. If it's oversized, it goes on, things get cool, shuts off. So it doesn't stay on long enough to remove the humidity. So getting it sized right is important, and it's something that should be demanded from every heat and air contractor. Also, build it right. No duct tape. Duct tape is not allowed. I don't know why they call it duct tape. It's not for ducks. But you should use duct mastic. It comes in a bucket. You just scoop it out, flop it on, and it dries like cement. Works very well. Some people use metal tape, and it can be used, but most all air conditioning ducts come with a very thin film of oil on them. And so if you put this tape on there, it doesn't stick. So, but duct mastic is the way to go. Also, this is a return, and it's one of the worst returns that I saw, but I saw a mess of bad returns. And in the new code that I'm going to talk about in just a second, will not allow this. It says all ducts must pass through ductwork, not building cavities, because these are, you know, just poorly built. You can't air seal that, so that's a major training item that I'm going to have to deal with home builders. Also, the supply booth. Okay, so air's being blown in, expensive air is being blown in, but if this is not sealed here, some of that air just might go back down into wherever it is, the ceiling or the crawl space. But well, whose job is that? Is that the guy who cut the hole? Is it the heat and air guy's job? Is it you know, whose job is that? One of the last pages in the Energy Performance Tune-Up is this kind of little chart. This isn't every job that needs to be done, but these are some of the most important ones. Here's the job that needs to be done. Here's who could do it: builder, framing contractor, installation contractor, HVAC contractor. What's important is to know what needs to be done, ask for it, and then make sure it's done. I was observing one house one time, and these guys were grumbling that they had to cut this hole just precisely to fit in that booth, you know, grumble. I said, well, if you were building a home, who would you want to have your building? Well, I want to have that guy that made us do it right. Also, exhaust vents. This is just a grease trap. It doesn't do much any good. It's important to take that air out, and same in the bathrooms. You're going to have good exhaust vents. As I said, the current residential code is based on the 2003 International Energy Conservation Code, and we've adopted that since 2004. But now we're in the process of upgrading the code to the 2009 International Energy Conservation Code. And there's some items in there that are going to cause a little bit of grief with builders. The biggest thing is home pressure testing and duct pressure testing. I don't think too many builders will have trouble building a home reasonably tight. But heat and air contractors are going to have a lot of learning experiences with building ductwork that is tight to pass the requirements. So this will require testing from a certified professional with a blower door and a duct blaster and make sure the home passes. Also, our current code, we were able to get out of the requirement to have 0.4 solar heat gain for all windows with our current code, because at the time, in 2004, it was significantly more expensive, and we wanted to get the builders on our side. The new code requires a 0.3 solar heat gain coefficient or better, so that's going to help in reducing the air conditioning load in the summertime, and those windows are now very common, easily available, easy to order. Here's some other changes. In the past, if you had a higher than minimum efficiency heat and air system and your house was not quite passing, the more efficient system would help you to pass. The new code says, no more of that. And the reason for that is heat and air system might last 15 years. A house lasts 100 years? It should. Only 2 climate zones instead of 4, so things are a little simpler. Slab insulation is required in Northwest Arkansas. This is another big ticket item. The previous code you could get by without slab insulation, but now you got to do it. You need to have a certificate on the breaker box that says, here's what I have in this house. It complies with the code. You need a programmable thermostat. And compared to the previous code where, as you recall, you had to have a certain percentage of window in the wall, there's no requirement to that. So you can have as many windows as you want. One of the projects that we've done with our stimulus funding, or we call it ARA funding, is to support Pulaski Tech and Northwest Arkansas Community College in creating what we call a Schools of Excellence. And they have gone through all the procedures to be accredited as providers of training for energy raters under the ResNet, Residential Energy Services Network program, and also the Building Performance Institute. So it's a very successful program, and we're very proud of the work they've been doing. Also, they offer a $900 scholarship to offset the cost for this training. And they have a lot of classes there for builders and heat and air contractors and architects, designing with Energy Star, which is kind of like going to the next level and really increasing the performance of the home. Manual J I talked about, on sizing systems, and RISOFT is just some software to allow you to do that. And Pulaski Tech also has things, several other classes on improving your home, designing, and shopping for a home. I'll have questions you wish you had asked. I believe these are free. And Pulaski also does a half-day class for home builders, heat and air contractors, and architects on Energy Star for Home, only $25. And at Northwest Arkansas Community College, they have kind of similar thing. And here's training opportunities at NWAC. Oh, by the way, I'm leaving 3 of these here, and we're also going to put this presentation on our website. So I know this is going rather quickly, but the information will be there. And training materials are provided for these workshops, and so it's the trainees go away with a boatload of materials. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Any questions?